I failed to do a vlog this previous week. My tripod broke, and I was trying to get in some focused practice for a concert we were playing with, or a concert arranged by the school, yet again. And I was playing a 30-minute set with the jazz ministry. Now I didn't get any footage myself, but someone else did get a tiny bit. So I'll show you this. This will be a longer vlog due to me not doing a vlog this previous week. We will kick off this vlog with all the cool stuff, with me playing live, me looking good, me looking like I'm actually going to make it, and then we'll end with all the sad stuff, with me being frustrating and yet again raising the question, will he ever make it? So enjoy this vlog 18. Prior to attending this folk high school, I don't think I've ever played a song from beginning till end. And this may be one of the reasons why I just can't remember songs. And that's of course not sustainable, so I've decided to address this and find a way to be able to do it. And this is what I came up with. So I've picked a piece from our songbook, and I'll write it down and run through my ideas. So yeah, here we go. Now here's the song from the book, and as you can clearly see, it's not a 4-chord song. I chose this song because it's a great song, and it helps prove my point. So the problem with this one is, or a lot of the songs I play, is that this is just, to me, it's just random letters from the alphabet in random order, and it doesn't help me remember it at all. My initial idea was to use Roman numerals instead of letters. And if you don't know what Roman numerals are, this may not make a whole lot of sense to you, but try to stay with me just for the idea anyway. So this song is written in D major, so the Roman numerals would look like this. And as you can see, this doesn't help at all. So instead of random letters in random order, we've got random numerals in random orders. So my next idea became to box this complete song into chord progressions, because a lot of chord progressions are just so common and we see them all the time in every song. It's chord progressions like the 5 to the 1, the 2-5-1, the 6-2-5-1, and something along the lines of 1-4-5-1. Now trying to find these progressions within this song isn't necessarily easy. Especially not if we only look at this song from the perspective of D major. Then it becomes nearly impossible. The first of these progressions we find in this song is the 6-2-5-1. This one over here. It's over here. 6, a 5/5 is also a 2, 5, 1. 6-2-5-1. So we got 4 chords prior to this that we can't remember, and then we got kind of a 6-2-5-1, because usually this 2 would be a minor in D major, but it's not. It's a dominant 2. So we got a 6 dominant 2 5 1, and then we have to remember that as well, that we've got 4 chords. We that's not a usual progression or one of the common progressions, and then we have to remember that there's a 2 in this 6-2-5-1, which is actually a dominant. So it just seems weird. So I was looking for some other way to remember this. And if we look at the progression, there's a 1, 5, 4, and then there's a dominant third, a dominant 3, third degree here. And usually the third degree in D major would be a minor. So something happens here, because this is a major. This is an F sharp and not an F sharp minor. The dominant chords, though, are usually... I'm missing a 7. Dominant. Dominant chords, though, are usually 5 chords. And 5 chords usually lead to a 1 chord. 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. That's very typical. So if this is actually now a 5 chord, then the chord over here, the chord it's leading to would be a 1 chord. Now this is definitely not D major now, if this is a 5 chord and this is a 1 chord. Now the 1 chord would be the usual tonic. So this would now be a 5-1 in the parallel key to D minor, which is B minor. So what happened here is kind of a modulation within the piece. So we're going from, this is in D major, still in D major, still in D major, and now we're going to the 5 of the parallel key. So here we are in D major, and then now we are in B minor. But even when we see this as a 5-1 into B minor, continuing on, this E is still a dominant, and it shouldn't be. It should be a minor. It's in the case of B minor, the key of B minor, and E would be the 4th, and the 4th step in a minor key is minor, but it's not. It's a dominant, which means that this is also some kind of 5 chord going to a 1. So seeing this also as a, instead of a 5/5 in the key of D major, or a 4 chord in the key of B minor, it would be its own 5 chord leading into a 1 chord. So now this A would be the 1. Looking at it this way, we've got a 1, 5, 4 in the key of D major, then a 5, 1 in the key of B minor, and then another 5, 1, 5, 1 in the key of A major. The problem with this is that this isn't necessarily the answer, that these first 3 chords are seen in D major, and then 2 chords in B minor and 2 chords in A major. That's not necessarily the answer, because there's plenty more opportunities to view and remember this. An example would be that we've got a 5-1 in A major, but B minor in A major is actually a 2, so this could also be viewed as a 2-5-1. This could be viewed as a 2-5-1 in A major, which is this progression, a 2-5-1. So now we've got 3 chords in D major, 1 dominant chord which leads, which is the 5 to the 2 of the 2-5-1 in A. But still, this isn't necessarily the best way to remember it, because you could also view this F sharp chord as being a 6 chord in A major. So then the progression would be a 6, a dominant 6, 2, 5, 1 in A major. So that's also a way to view it. But still, this doesn't necessarily have to be the answer, and it may still not be the best way to remember it. I mean, another possibility would be that this is actually if you view this as a B minor, these 3 chords, this G would be a I mean, this was what I'm trying to say is that this could also be a 2-5-1 relationship, this one over here, because this G could be a substitute for the C sharp. So this chord would be a sub 2, and then there's a 5, and then there's a 1. So a G chord, which is the substituted C sharp chord, into the 5 chord. This is so hard to explain. So if this is the 2 chord, a C sharp substituted with a G, and then a 5 chord, and then a 1 chord, then this is B minor, and then we end up with an 5-1 in A. And of course this is weird, and this probably won't help you remember anything, but at least it doesn't for me, but it's just saying that there's plenty of ways to view this, which makes it kind of hard to do. So I don't know if there's a better way out there. Just let me know. I'd like to know this. I'll try writing it down, as I would have the easiest time remembering this. And let's see if you agree with me. So yeah, I'll just... Now with everything cleared, let's try to make this song as easy to remember as possible, instead of just random letters or random numerals in D major. So I'm using these chord progressions as much as possible. This is how I would remember it, and this may not be necessarily harmonically correct, but this is probably how I would go about it. So let me just run you through what I'm thinking here. We're beginning off in the tonic key, D major, and then we're beginning with a 1-5-4. I mean that's easy to remember, a 1-5-4, and then there's a 5 chord leading to a 2-5-1 in the dominant key, which is A major. So I'm seeing this kind of it's a leading to a 2-5-1, or a 1-4-5 and a 5 chord leading to a 2-5-1 in the dominant key. And then there's a break in the melody, and this starts over with a 1-4-5. And now there's a new modulation, and it's a modulation to the relative minor key, the parallel, tonic parallel key. And then there's a 5-1, B minor, And a 5-1, again, B minor. We're seeing this all the time, 5-1. Then back in the tonic key, we go to a 4-5-1, which is this one, 4-5-1. From the 4-5-1, we now modulate again. From the tonic, we're modulating to the parallel key of the subdominant. So the subdominant in D is the G, and the parallel key is E minor. And then, now that we are in E minor, we are getting a 2-5-1 in the subdominant parallel key. 2-5-1, common chord progression. From here we just jump straight back into our tonic. I'm seeing this. I'm trying to stay as much as possible within the tonic universe, the D major universe in this case. So going back from the tonic, we're getting a 2-4-1, which makes no sense. I'm not sure how to go about that one. It just makes no sense. A 2-4-1. And still in D major, the tonic, we get a 6-2-5-1, which is this 6-2-5-1. So instead of all of this, I should be able to just erase it and remember it. I'm not sure if this is actually possible, but let's try. Now stop me if I'm wrong here, but if we're in the tonic, we begin this song with a 1, 5 to a 4. See, I'm not completely good at this. I'm still using the letters in my head. One, 5, 4. And now there's a 5 chord leading into a 2-5-1 in the dominant key. So let's just, I'm drawing it like this. This is a 5 chord leading to the 2 in the 2-5-1 of A major. So now we are in the dominant key, A major, if we're thinking of D major as the tonic. So now this would be a 2, 5 to a 1. And then we're going back to the tonic, repeating this first pattern. The 1, 5 to the 4, to the 4. And from here on, as well as up here, we get a 5 chord. 1, 5, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 5, 4. Yet another 5. So it's the same chord in this case. But this 5 is in the key of, it's leading to the key of the parallel key. So the tonic parallel key. The relative minor, which would then be the 1 to the 5 to the 1 to, I'm not sure how the bars go actually, but this should be a 5 to a 1, and from here I can't remember it. It's a That's right. That's a 4-5-1. So we're going for a 1 and a. In the tonic key, it now becomes a. Actually, this is one complete bar. It now becomes a progression we know and love. The 4, 5 to the 1 in the tonic key. From now on, I'm also unsure about what happens. 4, 5, 1. Now from here we have a 2, 5, 1. How does the bar? This is 1, 1. Then there's a bar, and then we go to the subdominant parallel key. And then there's a 2, 5, 1 here. Two, 5, 1, which is minor, of course. Just 1. And now comes the stuff which makes no sense, which is the 1 again, the 5, no, wait, I'm seeing this as a tonic thing, which is then a 2 and a 4 minor into the 1, and from the 1 we do a 6, 6 and a 2 and a 5 and ending on a 1. I have to check whether this is correct. 1, 5, 4 and a 6, 2, 5, 1. That's exactly what is written within this book. Okay, I had to look once. Now I think the magic about thinking of it this way is that I will then be able to play the song in any key, because this is not a specific chord. I mean, this tonic could be anything. It could be, let's say we're, instead of playing this in D major, we are playing it in C. So this is C major now. And then, actually, let's do this. If I haven't wasted enough of your time, I could just do this. So then the 1 becomes the C, 5 becomes the G, 4 becomes an F, and then this dominant over here is the key of G. And the 2 of G would be an A minor. And the 5 of the A minor would then be an E7. And yet again, we get a D over here, D7 to the new one, which is G, and then back to our tonic, which is C. We get a C, G, F. The tonic parallel would be an A minor. So over here we get an E7 again, an A minor, the 5, which is still E7, 1. Is the camera still running? It is. Then back to the tonic, which is C. The 4 of C is F, 5 is G, 1 is C, subdominant parallel key, which is D minor, 2 of D minor, that would be an E minor, or an E half diminished, E half diminished, and then we get a 5, which is an A7 to a 1, which was the D minor, 2-5-1, D minor minor 2-5-1 actually. Then back to the tonic, which is C, we get 2, which is a D minor, again, and a 4, which is now F but in minor. This makes no sense. And this was a 1 chord C, and then a 6, 2, 5, 1, which would then be A minor, D minor, 5, 1. And this kind of approach should come naturally or by itself the more I practice. So that's a rap, that's a walk. Perfect.